And then the monkey jumped on the bear's back and was like, "It's a rodeo!" And then kept going from there. It's great. This is Tuesday, September 11th. As we get into it from there, let's see. The Magic Lens is doing 1 week. So we have an article which you can get on my website. If you go to the short story pages, it's one about robot teachers. It says something about robot teachers, and we're going to talk about robot teachers. So you're going to need that one. Also, the Magic Lens, which is in the notebook, which is the green sheet, which is this one that you can also get. You're going to have to watch the video, which is yesterday's video. You should be halfway finished with your book report book by this weekend, which does mean you should probably start reading it, which is why Friday I'm going to give you a book report work reading day. So this Friday you're going to get a chance to start reading it in class. Unless you're finished with it, then you get a chance to then hopefully start working on the actual project. We'll see what we can do to help you out from there. And then our best classes start changing today if yours changes. And the bell work, September 11th, number 5, Hello, Mr. Roboto. And then from yesterday, we're going to have the thing where you get to do the whole 7 elements. We practiced doing it. At the end of class, fingers crossed today, we're going to get a chance to have kids start gaining B points. Also, if you teach this and the hand signs to a star or a globetrotter, and they can be a 7th or 8th grade star or globetrotter, and they come and tell it to me, you get 5 B points every time that you teach it to another kid. And the kid you teach it to gets one shiny monkey treat that they get to love and have wonderful breath with and stuff like that. And you can do that as many times as you have friends. And so that'll work until we finish out the rest of our short story unit. Brayden!
Okay, so what if you have a sibling or something of the sort that isn't a star or a globetrotter or a hero?
But they're just like a younger brother or sister. If you teach it to them and they run into me at some point and I see them, then sure, that's fine with me. The only problem with videotaping is sometimes...
behind the video being
yeah, I don't trust that as much. Just, once again, bad kids of the past have ruined it for you because horrible children. Here's the bell work, what you're going to do. For this one, we have 5 statements. You're going to tell me why you agree or disagree with each one, not just writing the words agree or disagree, so I would not have to hurt you, but then actually writing out, explaining why you agree or disagree. It says, 1, I would happily choose online school over real school. 2, school would be better with fewer teachers. 3, the best thing about school is the people that are here. 4, I wish VMath and Con could be used for English and history. 5, I think iPads and technology make learning more fun. So for each one of those, you're going to tell me why you agree or disagree. For those of you playing the live version, we're going to see by a show of hands here in a moment what your thoughts are. So the first one, I would happily choose online school over real school. Raise your hand if you agree, and then disagree.
I agree.
Interesting. All right. 2, school would be better with fewer teachers. Agree? Disagree? 3, the best thing about school is the people that are here. Agree? Disagree?
I agree.
Right. Disagree. And 4, I wish
here,
VMath and Con could be used for English and history. Agree? Disagree?
The Solar Maiden.
And 5, I think iPads and technology make learning more fun. Agree?
I said
disagree? By the way, if you didn't realize it, number 1 and number 4 go hand in hand. If you agreed with one, you should have agreed with the other. Because online school is VMath for English and Social Studies.
What?
That's what online school is. It's VMath because that's the process they're going to, is they're figuring out that VMath can replace math teachers. And so they're starting to use that instead of. So if you go to online school, they're figuring out how to make VMath work for English and Social Studies for that same idea. So if you want to do online school, that's what it is, where you're doing VMath, but for all of your subjects. You mean we have to do math on our other subjects? No, but it's that same idea of all you're doing is reading a thing and then responding to a thing. You have to get so many right before you can move on. That's what they're trying to go to. I apologize if I've now ruined your ideas of what online school was, where you thought it was just like them giving you balloons and throwing parties every day. And you're like, I thought that's what online... That's not what online... Now, you do get to sleep in a little bit. You get that part of it. But you do have a certain number of like school things, you like school hours you have to do and stuff like that.
I want to sign up for
So out of curiosity then, on number 1, for I would happily choose online school over real school, what are the pros and cons of that then? Why is it those of you who want to do online school, that is the thing you would choose, or those of you who go, no, I don't want it, why on that part? Will Michael?
I don't want it because then one of the good parts about school is being with your friends, and online school, you can't really see your friends. Also.
That's why God created FaceTime. FaceTime was
But
why
you can't
you're
make
doing it.
friends. If you're doing online school, then you can't make friends.
Sam?
Explaining
Because
facts.
some people can't really afford stuff, so because they can't do it.
Because of money-wise?
Yeah.
Alright. So, alright, that's a legit reason. I can dig that. Loud one?
Wait, is the question like, would you do online school or would you not do online school?
Yes.
My question now is, what do you see as the benefits of online school versus why would you not want to do it? This is the part that you write out where you're explaining to me your thinking.
Honestly, the benefits of online school is you don't have to wake up at 6 a.m.
That's what I said.
What about 5?
You do get to, is that the only benefit?
And then, like, you don't really have to, like, get out of bed. You just, like, sit in bed and do your homework. Or, like, everything. Like,
Don't get lazy.
it's almost, I feel like it'd be easier because, like, some
No, I
people
just
get,
wanna
like,
sleep.
stressed at school, and if you're at home, it kind of, like, makes it less stressful.
True. By the way, if you were not aware of it, Noblesville, which is just north of here, next year they are switching their elementary and junior high start times so that junior high starts would normally, so junior high would this start at 8:30 and then elementary starts at 7:30. So they're flip-flopping
I
them.
wouldn't want that.
And currently, California has a law that is being voted on in November that makes it illegal for junior high and high school to start before 8:30 in the day. And so that's what they're trying to move towards. And so the idea that because teenagers
Now they
tend
do it. Now they do
so
it.
that's
Now they
one
do
of the
it.
things they're trying to move towards.
Thanks.
Yes, you would get out later. So it does make, it just means instead of getting out at 3, you go till 4 o'clock. So instead of 2:45, you go till 3:45 because you still have to be in school a certain amount of time. It just shifts things later. Adam?
I said yes because then you don't have to wake up as early, and then also when you're sick, you can still do online school.
Very true too. In fact, that is true. Even when you're sick, you can't escape online school. Because while you're laying in bed coughing, your parents can be like, you can cough on your iPad. And you can sit there while you're still doing it. Talia?
Wait, I said I disagree, but I still have one benefit
Sure.
of online school. It's like for people who are like, everybody in class is not at the same like level. So like if you want to move on or you're like really like you learn things quicker, you can move on instead of like.
Well, with that being a good reasoning, why would you not want to do it then?
I just said that you wouldn't really be able to make friends at home if you just stay in one thing.
You guys seem to be focusing on this all kids like to make friends with other people thing. It's almost like you guys are social creatures. Weird. Also realize that as much as you hate some of them, teachers would be, I mean, all you would do for those of you who have been sick, like poor Carlos, watching me on video is nowhere nearly as entertaining as watching me in real life. And so if you're doing online school, that's all it is like you watching a video of a teacher teach or something like that. And that's only if you get lucky. A lot of times it's just them giving you like a little handout and you having to read the stuff on your own. And you would lose out on the entertaining teachers that talking. But then again, you also lose out on teachers making you sit and face a wall and trying to torture you to make you a better person. So it can balance out both ways. Kindig!
I go it because I work at home base.
And so there's sort of the Talia's idea, the fact that you don't have to worry about either the slow kids who hold you back or the fast kids who make you so you feel dumb, which is a legit thing to worry about. And Braden?
Okay, so I said that I wouldn't like it because I think teachers who can do one-on-one time like this around the room would give a better explanation on questions and quizzes.
Legit point too. I mean, one, you would not get this with online school, where you have like that conversation-y thing where you get to yell at each other. That would not exist. Two, the whole idea of a teacher sitting there and explaining things to you also doesn't work with online school. Because online school, you just get the fact that it is going to be you having to learn on your own. If you are not good, and by now some of you guys have figured out, if you're good at teaching yourself stuff, if you're not good at teaching yourself stuff, you're not going to be good at online school. Because online schools are like, here's your handout, read it and figure it out. You're like, I don't understand it. And the computer goes, beep, beep, boop. You're like, I don't get it. The computer goes, beep, beep, boop. You're like, you're not explaining. And so this the problem where it's not going to be responding to you because it's a computer. Sam?
Wait, so like you have to get like a certain amount of minutes on it?
Usually, yeah.
I feel like kids might cheat it and just like leave it open, just like play a game. And just, like,
Well, the idea is they have ways around that. One, they can tell if you're disengaged. Much like with NWEA now, when you guys are taking it, it lets me know when you guys are disengaged. It tells me if you're answering questions quickly, if you're answering questions without scrolling through. It has, I mean, if we can put people on the moon and we've got crazy GPS things, they've got ones that can tell if you're scrolling too quickly, if you're answering questions too quickly. It calculates all of that stuff out. So if you're sitting there like watching a video, well, one, it would lock out all of your other technology. But you're like, I would just use my phone at the same time. But then you can tell if you're not scrolling at the right speed. Plus, they can also do it now where you have this thing on the front of your iPad called a camera. They have the technology that can tell if your eyes are looking at the screen or not. And so they can use the camera that locks into it. And so while you're doing it, it'll be able to judge, because it has like, you know, the new iPad, the iPhones, it has the facial unlock thing. It's the same idea. And it can tell where your eyes are going. And if your eyes are looking to the side the whole time that you're watching something else, it'll go disengage, disengage, disengage. And like all of a sudden you have to keep looking back at the screen. You're like, it's like it's making me learn.
If you turn your iPad a different direction, you can be like that.
Right.
You're welcome to try and abuse the system. What if I have like a mirror system? I look under my leg. I have no idea. I'm just telling you how they're trying to figure out ways to try and thwart kids. As long as there's kids trying to break rules, there's adults trying to make them follow them. So now, let's get into the inspirational robots. And we're going to find out the fact that they are in the process of trying to replace your teachers with computers. So the three things we're going to ask at the end: what surprised you about all of this? And then, are there opinions in there? And then, are there facts? So inspirational robots will begin replacing teachers within 10 years. So you guys might miss out on it because you guys will be all graduating. But if you have younger siblings, maybe they could sometimes have teacher robots. Robots will begin replacing teachers in the classroom within the next 10 years as part of a revolution in one-to-one learning, a leading educationalist has predicted. Sir Anthony Selden, Vice Chancellor of blah, 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 said intelligent machines that adapt to suit the learning styles of individual children will soon render traditional academic teaching all but redundant. What you're in right now is traditional academic teaching. We have like a person up here talking to you. Braden?
What would happen if an EMP went off in the school?
Then all of your technology would stop working and you'd have to listen to teachers. It'd be awful. The former master of Wellington College said programs currently being developed in Silicon Valley will learn to read the brains and facial expressions of pupils, adapting the method of communication to what works best for them. Remember when I was just talking about it, being able to read your face? They're now developing technology that can tell when you're confused by your facial expressions. And so now they'll start reacting to that as it's trying to teach you, as opposed to teachers who just ignore you. The new era of automated teaching, promises an end to grouping children by year, like Talia talked about, as the personalized nature of the robots will enable pupils to learn new material at their own pace, rather than as part of a class. It'll open up the possibility of an impressively high level of education for all. Everyone can have the very best teacher, and it's completely personalized. The software you're working with will be with you throughout your education journey. He warned, however, that the new technology would have to be carefully introduced to avoid infantilizing pupils and teachers. As part of robot-led learning, teachers would adopt the role of overseers, monitoring the progress of individual pupils, leading non-academic activities, and providing pastoral support. Basically means teachers become more like the people who would help like guide you, like guidance counselors, as opposed to actually teachers. You guys all come in here, put on your headphones, and then like have your own little individual things, like have your own. So you still probably come to a school, but you just go straight into like a little computer cubicle, and then we would just be here to like help you if you have questions, maybe. The efficiency of automatic teaching would also mean that only 30% of school time will be spent in class. A contemporary historian who has written biographies of famous people says the new educational era is in a book that will due out next year. The impact is going to be massive. This is beyond anything that we've seen in the Industrial Revolution or since with any other new technology. The first revolution is understood to consist of learning the basics of survival: foraging, hunting, growing crops, building shelters. The second revolution involved the first organized sharing of knowledge, and the third was marked by the invention of printing. Automatic teaching machines would be extraordinarily inspirational. You'll still have the humans there walking around during school time, but in fact, the inspiration in terms of intellectual excitement will come from the lighting up of the brain, with the machines will be superbly well geared for. The machines will know what it is that most excites you and gives you a natural level of challenge that is not too hard or too easy, but just right for you. He expected the National Union of Teachers to be very alarmed by the prospect. The technology is already beginning to arrive. It's already out there on the west coast of the United States, and it's already beginning to transform schools. I'm expecting this to happen in the next 10 years. The great danger is that it takes jobs away, and for human beings, much of our fulfillment in life comes from the satisfaction of work. If we get the technology wrong, it'll end up doing everything for us in the same way that GPS means we no longer know how to read maps. Experts predict that automatic teaching of math and science will form the vanguard of machine-led learning, meaning the whole new part of. But the sophisticated algorithms would soon be devised to teach other classes like English or social studies. So soon, all you're going to have is electronic teaching. That's what they're talking about. They're saying within 10 years they're going towards that idea, because that was the whole idea of us bringing iPads in, because the whole one-on-one, and so soon they can sort of make the iPads be able to work for you. Which, by the way, speaking of Noblesville, if you were unaware, they also have one-to-one where they have iPads in the classrooms, but for them, you have to have their iPads, because you cannot put any of your own programs on there. It is only the school-based programs, so you cannot have any messaging or games. It is just straight up like whatever it comes on there, and the teachers get to pick the things that are on there, and the teachers get to have like actual control of your iPads and stuff like that. So that way it prevents the kids from sitting there being able to play games or anything along those lines. So that's more what they're going towards, is the idea of having this computer thing that you're handed, which you don't get to have any of your own stuff on. It is just for education, and that's it. Real quick, how many of you guys cannot read cursive handwriting? Because that's one of the things they're talking about, is the idea that this is a thing because cursive handwriting is not shown up on computers. Kids can no longer read it. Just like kids can't read maps because it's being replaced by technology. Why would you need to read a map if you have GPS? Why would you need to read cursive handwriting if it's never going to be seen on a computer? So the idea that these are skills that are starting to disappear. And that's the worry with this, is that if this is one of those skills, the idea of you being able to talk to other humans might be a skill that starts to disappear. Braden, what's your question?
Okay, so what I meant about the EMP was when robotic teachers start to come in, if that went off, doesn't that mean the students could just run out of the building?
When was the last time you had to worry about an EMP?
Every time I come to school.
Well, I worry more about the kid who's using his phone thinking I don't know he is, which is probably a much bigger issue than that, but we all have our own particular issues. Aiden!
Isn't college already like that?
Somewhat. I mean, college is still a lot like here, where you have like the person that's up there doing the whole talky thing to you, but there is a lot of online classes you can take. When you guys get to high school, there's online classes you can start taking. And so if you don't want to take like a PE class, you can do online PE, where you have to go out, I know, which I thought was the weirdest thing too, but you can go out and run, and then you have to like log and register the time that you did running, and then you do classes. That's part of the issue that comes in. Tomorrow, we're going to get into an actual story, but I figured I wanted to see your thoughts on robot teachers.
Yes, I am.
Tomorrow, we'll get to our first kid.